Hey, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Your boy Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer, with my man Brad Gilmore, with our special guest for the day. He is a man of many, many trades, a master of many as well. Let's give it up for Mike the Miz. How you doing, man?
I am doing awesome. I mean, if we're counting, I can go 8-time Intercontinental, 8-time Tag Team, 2-time United States, former WWE champion, Mr. Money in the Bank. You name it, I've done it. Host of Cannonball. I mean, we can just rattle them off.
I got it, man. You got more titles than I do. That's something that's not known. But how you doing, man? How you doing, first of all?
I'm doing really well. I've been running around the house all day, every day with my 2-year-old and my 10-month-old. My 10-month-old is now crawling, so it's just absolute mayhem all day, every day. I love it, though. I feel like every day is a new day because, you know, my 2-year-old, all of a sudden she starts saying complete sentences, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, one day she's not, the next day she is. One day she's not going to the bathroom. The next day she's going on, like, the potty. I'm like, oh, my God. Monroe's going on the potty. This is the best day ever.
You know, man, it seems like you've been preparing yourself for what you're doing for a long time, man. And that's what I want to ask you about. How has fatherhood changed you?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, like, I feel like I've had every job in the book. You name it, I've done it. But being a dad is the hardest job I've ever had to do. And honestly, I feel a lot of guilt. Like guilt whenever I'm not around him. Like right now, I'm right here with you. This is fun. This is great. But in the back of my head, I'm like, man, I'm not with them. I should be with them every day, all day, every second. But you just can't. So you got to deal with that kind of, I don't know if they call it dad guilt or whatever, but it's just one of those things. You always have that guilty feeling whenever you're not with them and paying them all the attention that you feel like they deserve.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, man. When you're the man, it's your responsibility to take care of everyone else, and I stress that to a lot of young men because they find themselves in that position, still wanting to be that guy that they once were before. How making that trip? You seem like you was ready, and you was at that point to where you want to actually move into that next stage, that next level of life. Am I on point about that?
You're very on point. You know, like with where I am with my life, where Maurice is with her life, you know, we literally said like we're ready for kids. Like it was very unexpected. We didn't plan on having kids. It just kind of happened. And I couldn't be more proud. Like I couldn't be happier at where I am today and where I am now, whether it's in WWE or hosting Cannonball or a reality show, Ms. and Mrs. Like, we're just having the utmost fun. And I love the fact that we have Ms. and Mrs. because everyone kind of knows me in the ring as the Miz, egotistical, arrogant. So now you get a little insight of who I am as with my family, with my father, with my mom. You get an idea of why I am the way I am. And you also get to see the dynamic of my wife and I, how we are as parents, how we deal with parenthood. So, you know, we're just really enjoying this phase in our life.
You know, what I remember most about you, man, what strikes me most about you, and I see a lot of stuff like on the internet, like today, and like movements trying to be, you know, created for someone. And I watched your career, man. I said, man, if Miz had a career, man, he'd have been on top a long time ago. But you was that guy, man, that just persisted, man. You was the guy that wasn't going to take, you know, no for an answer. You was a guy that did not believe that you could be the world champion one day. And the thing is, that started a long time ago when I first saw you on MTV. It seemed like you knew what you wanted and you was willing to do whatever it took to get there. Talk to me about that, man.
I think I'm very goal-oriented, and I make my goals so far away from a grasp. Like, these are goals that you never even imagined. Like, when I was on The Real World, I remember going home and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. When I said I wanted to be a WWE superstar, I said, okay, what tools do I need to become a WWE superstar? Because it's not just wrestling. You are everything. The reason why we call ourselves WWE superstars, I feel like we are the ultimate performers. People are like, you know, with Cannonball, they're like, you know, what prepared you most? And I go, are you kidding? WWE prepares you for everything, every scenario you could possibly be in entertainment and as a performer. And so when I went into Cannonball, they were like, you're going to host, you're going to commentate. I go, this is a cakewalk. This is no problem because WWE got me to a level to where I'm comfortable on a headset talking all day, every day to anybody. And then not only that, but so when I moved and I set my sights on being a WWE superstar, I tried to get as many tools as possible. I didn't just go to wrestling school. I went to acting school. I went to improv classes. I would do speeches for colleges, motivating them, because people would hire us. When you're off the real world, they would hire you to go to schools and speak. And I would speak in front of thousands of people. So it taught me how to speak in front of a large audience. So I was trying to get everything possible. I got a nutritionist. I got a trainer to try to get me bigger and more fit, because back then people were as big as you, Book. Now it's not like that. Now it's not like that. Everyone doesn't have to be 6'5", 250 pounds of pure solid muscle.
Yeah, man. I talk about, that transition and the levels it take to actually make it to the top. It's not just about going out there and doing moves or anything like that. That is so far from what this business is truly about. And for you to reiterate that for me, man, I really appreciate that, because, your word is valuable, man, because you have done it. You've been there. You've seen it. If you had,
what made you most famous, Booker? The Spinaroonie, would you say?
Yeah, man, Spinaroonie was part of it.
You literally are the toughest guy in the locker room. Booker T was the toughest guy in the locker room. And what made him the most famous? It wasn't beating people up. It wasn't kicking people. It wasn't punching people. It was a Spinaroonie. Like, that's the in-betweens that people just don't understand. Yeah. People don't get, like, you can be the biggest butt kicker in the world, but a little thing like that, like our Kurt Angle at his Hall of Fame speech said, the thing that people talk about most is his little cowboy hat that he did with Kurt Angle. Like, that's what people talk about. So me and Morrison right now as a tag team, we literally look at, okay, let's figure out ways that we can entertain an audience, especially now with no one in the audience. Like, let's figure out ways to entertain people on TV. Like, John came up to me the other day. He goes, hey, you want to do an 80s ballad? And I go, well, I can't. I would love to. I can't sing, though. He goes, neither can I, but let's do it. So then all of a sudden, we're in my guest house singing an 80s ballad, and it came out on YouTube, and it was a huge hit. And I can't sing, but on that thing, it sounded like I could.
That's what auto-tunes are for these days. That's what I was going to ask you on this. What would you tell some young guy out there that's trying to get in it? But you just overlaid it, man. You pretty much just said everything and summed it up as far as
Billy Kidman gave me the best advice I've ever had, Book.
What's that?
And it was before I was a WWE superstar. It was when I was on the Real World. I met him at the Playboy Mansion of all places, because Tori Wilson's cover was coming out and Billy was there. So I saw Billy. I was like, oh, man, WWE superstar. I got to go up to him. I go, what's your best advice? He goes, honestly, I can tell you all these different things, but stick with it. And it was the best advice. The reason it was the best advice is it sounds so simple, but so many people find different excuses on why they never made it. Family, friends, you have to sacrifice everything to get there. And you've got to find all the tools and pieces that you need to get there. And you got to figure out the way to get there. And so sticking with it was a very small, but it meant the most to me. Yeah. Especially at that time.
It's definitely, man.
Brad, go ahead. You brought up John Morrison being back, and what a talented guy. It was so cool to see him back in the WWE ring. When you heard he was going to make his transition back into WWE, did you already magically know, man, Miz and Morrison, we're getting back together, we're going to do this tag run, or was that not on the horizon?
It's what I wanted. Like, anytime I have an opportunity to be around John Morrison, I'll take it. He's my best friend, and honestly, we talk every day, and he makes me better. He has an out-of-the-box type of mind. It's very artsy and very he just knows how to put together a match, but then he'll go in these way out of weird things, and I'm like, that's not going to work. It's great, but he just takes me out of my comfort zone, and sometimes you need that in WWE.
Morrison, I didn't realize how cool of a dude he was until he came to Reality of Wrestling. I've been around him, but I never got a chance to, hang out with him or anything like that. And we had booked a show at Reality of Wrestling where it was going to be him and the Green Ranger. And Green Ranger pulled out on me. And I told John, he was like, man, I'm still coming, bro. You know what I mean? He came in and did the show big and went to Austin and did. But he was just such a cool guy, man. And being around someone like that, like you say, it's kind of infectious. So I'm glad to see him back in the WWE as well. Let's move on, man. Cannonball thing. This is huge. Following Monday Night Raw, Cannonball featuring The Miz. I tell you, man, it seemed like I remember Conan, he saw me in the airport one day, and it was, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, and he said, "Book, every time I see you, man, you're like a chameleon. You're always changing your spots." That's to me is talk to me about being able to change your spots and switch.
You have to. You always have to be evolving, and you know this better than anybody, Book. You always got to be, you 3 steps ahead of everybody else. And when Cannonball kind of came around, I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's have some fun. I mean, it's the biggest, wettest, wildest water sports competition ever. When I went to set, I looked at it, I went, oh my God, this thing's bigger than any water park I've ever been a part of. And literally, like, as much as I like to think that I'm the star of the show, I'm not. Like, the contestants are. Like, we have all walks of life. We have a sock model. We have a 54-year-old woman who is more ripped than I am. We have a guy that loves cats, so we call him the cat daddy. We have
who was the guy who looked like Ozzy Osbourne? Who was the guy who kind of looked like the Ozzy Osbourne?
Dominic Giorgiani. And the guy who's afraid of heights, and all of our challenges deal with heights. And so, like, you're on a 100-foot mega slide, sliding down like 80 miles an hour and getting launched in the air like 80 feet. And this guy's like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm really scared. I don't like heights. It's the reason why I came on this show, to really go into it. And he did. And he did a great job. Wow. It's funny. $10,000 is the grand prize, and it's a life changer for some people. For instance, Tanner Cortez, who actually won, and I can say that because that episode has already aired. He won. We asked him what he was going to do with the money. He goes, well, I'm going to propose to my longtime girlfriend. And afterwards, I saw on Instagram that him and his girl with the ring, he bought a ring with the money that he won on Cannonball. So we're changing lives here.
Wow.
And I think it's such a great show to follow, Monday Night Raw. I watched it last night because I don't know if you remember back in the day, there used to be this show called, I think it was like the Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, and it came on after Raw. And it's got that same kind of sports entertainment vibe. But when you first saw the set, you said it's a 100-foot water slide. Was your first inclination of, I want to go down this slide? Did you try out any of the things?
100% I wanted to try out, but they wouldn't let me. The producers were like, no, we don't have time today. What about tomorrow? We don't have time today. Then when we were done, I was like, all right, I'm going to go on. And they turned off the water slide, and I went, thanks. So I never got to actually do it. I'm supposed to be the expert, but never even done it ever. So next season, I think if we ever get another season, which the ratings have been really, really well, so hopefully we do, that's going to be in my contract to actually do every competition so I can actually talk about it and be an expert about it.
Yeah. Hey, man, is this the life after wrestling? Going into more stuff like this, you could be the next guy like on The Price is Right or something. Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm the next Bob Barker, but I'll tell you what. Like I really enjoy what I'm doing now. I love being a WWE superstar. There's nothing better than hearing whether you're getting booed or cheered or having a great match. I mean, those are what really drives me. But being able to have a show like Cannonball to host. I have fun with Roxy Diaz, who is my co-host. I have fun with Simon Gibson, who is my sideline reporter. They're the ultimate professionals, and they're so witty and fun. So I'm just having a good time. Whatever's fun, I'm going to keep doing. And not to mention, Ms. and Mrs., along with my family, as much drama as it is, and as much hell as I go through, it's still so much fun. And I've never seen my dad so much because the cameras are around and he wants to be famous.
You know what, man?
WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, right. If I could give some young kid, before I get you out of here, man, if I could give some young kids some advice, man, they need to go back and literally pull up the archives of Mike the Miz and watch the blueprint, man, as far as what it took to make it to this level, because this did not happen overnight. And the hard work that went into it, man, I can attest to the hard work because I was there up close and personal. I saw it. And for you to be doing what you're doing right now, man, I'm serious, man. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I can't be more proud of you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep knocking it out of the park. And I love you, bro. Thanks for coming on.
I will, man. And thank you very much, Book. Like, you always had my back, I felt like, and always supported me, even when people weren't. So I've always appreciated you taking me aside and giving me pointers here and there. It always really helped. And it always felt like, wow, I do have someone that is supportive of me and does believe in me. Because you were one of the very few that, no matter how much I was picked on, no matter how much I was told that I wouldn't make it, you were always the one that was like, yo, you're doing the right thing. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. And you'd always give me pointers. So I always appreciated that, Buck.
Definitely, man. Hope to see you on next season of Cannonball, man.
Let's do it. Maybe we'll get you on.
Train rolling, man. Keep that gravy
Maybe we'll get you on, Buck.
Hey, say win, man. Say win. Again, man, thanks for stepping inside the Hall of Fame with me, bro.
Cheers, man.